Okay, so this sequence is a sequence that I teach a lot of my clients, and I've done myself many times to get myself out of back pain, or if my SI joint, which is really located right in this area, it has a very little bit of movement that it needs to be mobile, but for, just a very, like a micro movement kind of mobile. So not as much mobility as like you would with your hips, or your upper back, or your shoulder. So it's a little different, but we do want to create mobility in that joint, especially if we feel really tight, we've been sitting for long periods of time, or we're having actual instability back there. So we're going to start with the first thing, which is a single leg hip push, which I show I start a lot of my clients with. And so we're going to start on your back, and this is a really subtle move, and this comes from Feldenkrais. So this is meant to be done slow and really focus on the release part of this move. So you're going to be pressing through this foot right here that's on the ground. It's almost like I'm rolling myself over, just my lower body here, just kind of pushing myself over, and then I'm going to release the hip all the way down as slow as I possibly can. So one thing I tell people is imagine that your hip is melting into the floor. You're just melting it, and you want to release it as fully as you can all the way through until you just can't go any further. So if you come down and you feel like a little bit of a catch, or there's some tightness and you can't get all the way down, we want to keep moving through this until we can finally get all the way through this motion and melt all the way down into the ground, and the hip comes down. Again, this is kind of really working and releasing that SI joint area. We're going to do at least 10 of those, and we want to do them really slow, or you can do as many as you feel like you need to. Then we're going to switch and do the other side. So again, we're pushing ourselves over, almost pushing yourself over, then bringing it back down and releasing that hip slowly into the ground, and almost melting that right into the floor here. Until you feel a real good release in the hip. And really, really pay attention to this. This is something you don't want to rush through because it's so subtle, and it's very counterintuitive to something that we do in the gym normally. This is more of like a parasympathetic move. It's going to put you more in your parasympathetic nervous system. So it's meant to be done slow, okay? Because the way that you can release joints and areas in the body is by actually slowing down. So you want to bring your feet together this time for this next move, and you're going to just let one leg drop over and then bring it back up. So feet are together, one leg is dropping over, and you're not forcing the leg, you're just letting it drop wherever it goes here. And you can do this as many times as you want. You can do this while you're watching TV. This is a really great thing for winding down at the end of the night. I use it quite a lot. And it also helps with external rotation and the pumping of the hips, so it gets a lot of circulation going in the hips and the lower back. And if this feels really good for you and you're good, stop here. If not, go ahead and go on to the next move, which is the hip slide. And so you're gonna, again, this is another Feldenkrais move, and we're gonna just slide the top knee. We're gonna slide that top knee over the bottom knee here, and I can put my hand back here and just feel that top hip sliding over the bottom hip. The bottom hip is not moving, and we're just kind of, again, doing a little bit of movement in the SI joint there, so it frees it up a bit. And you can rest your head, and your arms can be together, so you can isolate that part. And then you can do that on the other side and just turn over and do that on the other side there. And one side might feel a little bit different than the other, and that's okay. That's that's for getting that area freed up so that you can freely move, and your lower back is a little bit more comfortable, and you can move better. And it actually even helps with your hip function too. So try that, see what you think, and comment below if you have any questions.